Happy Thursday, I'm meteorologist Diane Phillips, and we are kind of back to reality here as our spring-like weather that we had yesterday. Well, that is done and we are back to winter. We're even so much back to winter that we're talking some snow showers later on today. That's what we have on tap for your Thursday, as temperatures are going to be into the lower 40s. So still fairly mild, but even though we'll be above freezing, it'll be later on today that we do see that snow shower chance. But I wanted to talk about something that happened yesterday. So you may have heard about this, but yesterday we were at that closest point to the sun, the Earth to the sun, and that's called perihelion. And that means that, that's just kind of how it always works, because let's first start with Earth's orbit. So you'll have Earth's orbit here, and it's not a perfect circle. It's actually a circle that's kind of been sat on, so it looks more like an ellipse. But either way, because of its shape, as the Earth travels, so let's say you're at the winter solstice, then as you head around early January, that's typically when we hit perihelion, when the Earth is closest to the sun. So that was yesterday. There's still a lot more science though to go with this, because as the Earth travels around, our seasons are caused not by its journey, but by the tilt of the Earth, because as the Earth is rotating around the sun, also on an axis, the Earth is tilting on its own and moving as well. So there's a lot of movement to this, but even though that our rotation around the sun does not determine our seasons, it can affect the length of our seasons, and of course our seasons. That's kind of where that weather component comes in. So definitely an interesting part. Another thing to note, we'll reach our furthest point away from the sun as we head into the month of July. Now, another thing that we have going on is we have the full moon here for January. So for January, we call this the wolf moon. So that first full moon of the month, and the name wolf moon came from the times when we had a lot of wolves, and you were more likely to hear them around this time of year. But another thing that's kind of interesting in itself is the distance of the moon. So this is actually called a micromoon, because the moon, as it rotates around the Earth, it has its own orbit. So just kind of how like Earth has an orbit with the sun. But the moon is going to be at its furthest point away from the Earth. So that will affect its size and brightness as far as the appearance. However, it probably will be a little bit trickier to actually see that with your bare eye. So maybe if you have a telescope, you're able to kind of notice that, but it's still going to be pretty tricky to kind of pick that up if you're able to catch a look at that on Friday night. But it's the winter, and we know that it's cloudy season here, so it'll probably be a little bit tricky to see that full moon tomorrow night. But even before we get there tonight, the one thing you will be seeing is a chance for some snow showers. So we have the center of the storm. You can find that over into Illinois, but it also has a lot of snow, and yet we're also watching for that rain component to be mixing in as well. Now, the moisture that we have showing up here over northwest Ohio and southeast Michigan, a lot of that is evaporating before it hits the surface. So we just have, a little more moisture that we have to build on in and move in by later on this evening, bringing those snow showers into the picture. So you will find those snow showers, really those chances start to pick up around the evening commute and into that dinner time frame. So we will see a mix of rain showers and snow showers, but we're not anticipating much as far as impacts to local roadways. But the cooler air, of course, always keep an eye any roadway. You're just going to want to take it slow if something's falling from the sky. But overnight, we'll kind of see that density or coverage as far as the snow showers. That'll kind of dwindle down a little bit, and we'll just have mostly cloudy skies. However, we will still keep a few flurries into the forecast as we head into your Friday, but it won't be anything like we're anticipating for this evening. Now, of course, with the snow showers that are going to be in the forecast, you're going to want to keep an eye to radar later on tonight. And you can do that, of course, by tuning into our newscast. That'll be right here on WTOL 11+. That's going to be happening around 5 o'clock, of course, just like clockwork. But also, you can have the WTOL 11 weather app. That's a free app. You'll have radar checks there, and of course monitor those snow showers. We'll also have the hourly forecast there as well, and then you can see kind of the breakdown of the snow showers when we're expecting those. But also another component that's pretty popular on our app is the daily tab. The daily tab gives you that full 10-day forecast, and here's even a kind of quick look at that. Of course, we're not looking at precipitation, but we're looking at the trends of high temperatures. After we had that spring-like feeling that we had yesterday, you're still going to find a couple of 40s. just here and there in the forecast, very spotty, but a lot of our temperatures are going to be close to average, finding those readings that'll be into the mid to upper 30s. At this point in the season, about 36 down towards 35 degrees is our average temperature for January. So we get a little bit closer to that about a week from now, but still a lot of our temperatures are going to be trending above average as we head into the middle of the month. Now, with it being Thursday, we're already thinking about the weekend and maybe making some plans. If that's the case, plan on temperatures to be around 36 on Saturday and 38 for Sunday. Saturday is going to be the dry day. However, it'll be seasonal and cloudy. That's kind of how winter works here. But another thing that I'm watching for on Sunday is the potential for a system that could be bringing some rain and snow showers into the forecast. So you can plan on those cloudy skies. But as far as the coverage of the rain and snow right now, not looking to be something that could be too difficult as far as your plans that you already have in place. Now we will see those flurries for tomorrow. Don't forget the snow showers for tonight. Saturday, keeping that one dry until we have that next rain snow shower chance. But you will find that next week the forecast kind of dries out. What we're really watching though is if we can have any little energy, little rounds of energy that sweep through that can just ignite a few snow showers into the forecast. So we'll be keeping an eye to those, but the one thing you can always plan on is cloudy skies. We always have our fair share of clouds here in the winter season, of course, because of the Great Lakes. Also during this time frame, temperatures, they're going to hold steady like we talked. We'll see a lot of those readings into the mid to upper 30s with just a couple of 40s sprinkled in the mix.